What really lights me up about Ken Wilber's teachings, for me, the Aqua model is how it was delivered to me, but through Ken, is that, you know, there are these major lines of development, and I think you identified them beautifully, Lee. And Ken would further populate that by just saying that there are as many lines of development or as many intelligences as things you can say about a human being. And I always loved that because that just helped me to tease apart, first of all, myself and see where I'm high and where I'm low. This is one of the great things about this teaching, is that we do realize, and maybe this part I'm going to say here right now is a little bit of an article of faith, but I have it. And that is that every human being has some line of genius, or 2 or 3 or 4 or more, depending on how finely we slice it. And that one of the great ways of sort of orienting our relationships is to, at least in part, make it our job. This is something we do ourselves. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but make it our job to identify the line of genius in the person that we're dealing with. And that is so great. And of course, when you're doing that with somebody, whether or not they know it, they just can't resist.
True. And Jeff, I would add that if you're coaching someone or you're helping someone, then it can be really useful to find what someone's really good at and then help them use a similar strategy within domains that they're not so good at, so that they can sort of transpose their talents to areas where they haven't yet applied that same sort of approach.
Wow, I like that. Do you have an example of that?
Well, for instance, I think the first example that comes to mind is that some people can be very argumentative mentally with other people, and that can sort of reduce the quality of their relationships. But if you then explain to them that you can sort of see the level of skill they have in being physical with another person. So for instance, if the person is in a room with another person, then they don't leap at them physically, or they don't try to wrestle with them at every opportunity they get. But at the same time, if they're argumentative, then that's a form of mental wrestling with a person. So it's a form of sort of jumping on someone and trying to wrestle them to the ground with arguments. And if people can then see that, okay, I can restrain myself in a physical, at a physical level, then I can also do the same thing at a mental level and sort of respect people's autonomy of thinking and things like that. So then you can use strengths and sort of natural talents and insights to sort of transpose abilities from one domain to another.
I think that's great. I think that makes perfect sense. And you could even take it a step further and say, okay, so what we are realizing here also is that you're highly developed on the argumentative scale. That is, you're good at arguments. I mean, you think things through, or you make a case. And I have a friend like that. We laugh at it because she's such an attorney. You can't just disagree with her. I mean, you have to make a case, and it has to be a whole thing. And at this point, we're good enough friends that we derail it and have a laugh. But boy, is she good at it. And if she's paid the price in certain ways, it has hurt her relationships. And she's getting that. But on the other hand, she would have made a hell of an attorney. So anyway, yeah, so we see that with each other. And we see where we're, I use this example because it's so fundamental for me, is that I can see where my ability to use communication technology has slowed to a crawl. And, I could do Zoom, I could do these videos. Can I do Facebook? No. I get there and it's like walking into a room full of chairs. I don't know where to begin. I don't know why. I just don't. And so I can see that it's just, in a way, it's a third person thing. It's a lower right thing. And it's also a lower left thing. It's all 4 quadrants. But this whole social media thing, the world is moving beyond me on that. And that's as developed as I'm probably going to get. And that's actually good to know, because I can forgive myself for, explain it away or work around it or whatever I need to do. And it does give you a lot of, it gives you this whole new complexity of seeing other people when you begin to, try to tease them apart and see their lines of development and see your own and see how they interact. And what fun it is when you have a friendship or a relationship with somebody where you can do that consciously with each other and, really move the ball, because you're getting, this we space involved. So I think lines of development is a really important teaching.